Hey, podcast fans, by the end of this episode, you'll have 3 new awesome podcasts to add to your rotation. Make sure you subscribe to keep these podcast recommendations coming. Welcome to What the Pod. I go by the name of DJ Treese, your favorite pod mother and the undisputed queen of podcast recommendations. What the Pod is a podcast that recommends new shows for you to listen to. What's going on to everyone who's listening to me on Jam? Thank you so much for joining me today, and let's jump right into today's show. Take a Bite Out of the Toast, a hilarious gossip podcast. The Morning Toast takes the listener on a comical run through the latest pop culture news. Every weekday morning, the duo tackles 5 stories from celebrity gossip, and nothing is off limits. Check out the Toast podcast today. The Basement Yard is a comedy podcast that started in host Joe Santagato's mother's basement. And now he's number 11 on the comedy podcast charts. I think that's pretty dope. Check out the Basement Yard podcast today. Coming in at number 12 on the comedy podcast charts. Check out hosts Corinne and Sabrina, bi-coastal best friends, with a questionable, unhealthy curiosity for all things spooky, scary, and supernatural. 2 Girls and One Ghost is the most haunted podcast in America. Countless listeners have reported that listening leads to encounters with the other side. So listen at your own risk. Check out the 2 Girls, One Ghost podcast today. Thank you so much for listening to What the Pod. If you like any of my podcast picks, then share my show with your friends. As always, click the link in the show notes to follow me on Spotify and listen along to these podcasts with me. Text What the Pod to 552266 to get your daily episodes sent right to you. Full video episodes of What the Pod are available on my YouTube channel. If you love me and you love my show, then give me 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I'll check back in with you tomorrow where I'll give you 3 new shows for you to listen to. The holidays are right around the corner, and you're probably in need of some pretty epic stocking stuffers. If your friends and family love podcasts, then head over to shoppodmerch.com to get them podcast merch that you know they'll love. We've got holiday wine tumblers, beanies, mugs, AirPod cases, and so much more. Give the podcasters in your life the gift of cool pod merch. Visit shoppodmerch.com and use code WTP to get 10% off your first purchase. The link is in the description. Again, that's code WTP at shoppodmerch.com for 10% off your first purchase. Shop Pod Merch, the official merch for podcast fans. Hey you, thanks so much for listening to What the Pod. This podcast continues to grow because of people like you. If you like backstage access and longer podcast and chill episodes, then join the What the Pod fan club on Apple Podcasts. Membership is only $2.99 a month, and 100% of the funds go right back into producing more content like this. I know you're a fan, so join the club exclusively on Apple Podcasts.